Also, everyone, thanks so much for everyone's support of late. What a time this is, and what a guest I have today. Ladies and gentlemen, he's known amongst a whole bunch of things, so here we go. This is Sensei Peter the Chief Graham from the Northern Beaches of New South Wales. Chief, good afternoon. How are you? Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Yeah, man, I'm good, Patrick. It's a weird time, isn't it? I just realized that, the daylight saving happened, and I keep on getting it messed up. It's already afternoon. I've been doing stuff all morning online, in my office here, which I was just explaining. It used to be a code. So I have no idea what's going on. My wife just called me just before we jumped online saying, "Hey, come out for lunch," and I'm like, actually, you got to do something.
Chief, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. It's an honor having a chat to you. You've got an amazing story, amazing journey that you've had so far. We've touched base at Shian Judge Reed's camp about a year and a bit ago, which was an awesome experience as well. But I guess today's to highlight some really cool stories, some really cool things about you, a bit of your Kyokushin journey that you've shared with me in the past. And, I guess at a beginning here, it's how did Peter Graham get stuck into Kyokushin, and who was your first teacher, or who was your first mentor as such?
Well, my first teacher was Graham Porter at Birkenhead Point in New South Wales in Sydney. And at that stage, I was still living in what they call a youth refuge. I didn't live at home. I was almost 18. And it was the first time in my life I had some stability living in the same place for a long time. And I wasn't exactly a good kid. So I used to always walk past this karate dojo, and I see him in there, doing karate. And I was actually walking to the bottle shop most of the time.
Mm.
And I went, I got to do something with my life. And I said, I'm going to go in. So I walked in, and there was a guy called Johnny sitting behind the desk. And I said to him, "Hey, mate, what do I need to do to become a karate champ?" And he looked at me. He told me after, he goes, "Pete, that first day when you came in, I went back in the office and I told the guys, there's some crazy kid outside telling me he wants to become a karate champ." And he said we all had a bit of a laugh, and I thought this kid's maybe a bit special or something. And then he goes, "But mate, you had the last laugh. You did what you said you were going to do." Anyway, so Johnny said to me, he kind of beat his tongue a bit. He said, "Mate, turn up tonight, 6 o'clock, $50 a month. First class is free."
Fantastic.
I turned up. It was all these, all these people, just going through basics, and I can still remember how I felt. I remember what the day was like. It was such a pivotal point in my life.
Of course.
And that was it. I straight away knew that was it. And I never, ever, ever looked back. It was just like, boom. That's all I wanted to do from then on out. Says that's it. I just want to do karate, and I want to that's it. Everything else was a distant second. If I made money, it was to to go to tournaments or buy some equipment or whatever. It was just, I don't know, just like a switch flicked in the back of my head.
So the flick switches, and the teenager of the Chief starts to blossom a bit, and then seeing black belts or the vision of a black belt. How did that progress for you, and was that something that you were pushing for?
I wanted a black belt so bad. I was like, I was so frustrated. I was frustrated on the first day. This was me. I said, "Man, I can't be a white belt. This is, this is embarrassing." I'm like, straight out of the class, when's the first grading? They're like, "You haven't even joined up yet, champ."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do I have to do to, jump a grade? And when's the next class? And when can I have, it was like, I was that kid.
And you would have been the one that would have loved to have competed. And I mean, we're going to again, do our best in the hour that we have with you to go through your illustrious fighting career. But your fighting career in Kyokushin, I mean, I'm not trying to jump straight into this, but there's a lot to talk about. But, you loved it. You had some wins, you had some losses. What were some absolute beauties that, you can share with some of us?
You know what? I think lots of people know all the good stuff because everyone says, I'll tell you a funny story about a guy that everyone kind of knows. Sensei Walter Schnobel.
Us.
He was the guy when I was starting. He was easily the best heavyweight. And everyone had known that he trained. He's trained by Cameron Quinn. Sharon Cameron Quinn, of course. Legend. Across the board. As a martial artist and combat sports coach, and of course Wally had beaten Sam Greco. And Sam Greco had gone to K1. This guy was unbelievable. So I fought Wally 5 times.
Shit.
I lost to Wally 5 times. Not only did I lose to him 5 times, I lost to him in the same punch, the same way.
Yeah, right.
right in the middle of my body. Full point every time. Can you believe that? I think that's something, everyone always hears the stories that, they won or they succeeded or they did really well. But, I got pounded and pounded and lost and pounded. Another time, like the very first tournament I went into, I was pumped. I said to my sensei, Sensei, there's a tournament, come on, come on. He goes, no, you've trained for 2 weeks. No, I'm good. Put me in. I'm ready to go. He said, no, you can't. No, put me in. I got to go. I'll do anything. Just let me go in the tournament. Yes, no, you can't. And I just until he finally just said, okay, go. So I went and I got the shit kicked out of me. I was doing well. Well, at least I thought I was doing well.
Yeah.
The first tournament I was like, awesome. I'm like, man, I'm gonna bash this guy. I was so, I was a bit of a dickhead. I wasn't rude or anything, but in my mind, I was like, man, I'm gonna smoke this guy. I got everything. And then he started slamming low kicks into my leg. And because I've been training all of 2.5 weeks or something,
sure.
I didn't move my leg. I didn't check or do anything. I just got hammered. And I was a tough kid, so I took it for for the first 60 seconds. Then I needed a breath. And then for the next 2 minutes, he just slammed my leg. Ended up with a bruise, all the way from my knee to my hip, this wide, purple, green. I literally couldn't walk out. My brother helped me get down the stairs. It was at the RPA club in Sydney, and I couldn't walk. And then one of my other Simon Pullman sensei called me up and said, Pete, I come back to training. I said, oh, as soon as I can walk. So I turned up, and I was like, all I wanted is just try to hobble back there.
Yeah.
And another time, a funny story, kind of the same kind of thing, is that I had been training so hard. I just won my first tournament, so I had another one, so I was super excited. So it was the Eastern Suburbs Open tournament, and I was in the I think it was in the yellow belt and under division, heavyweight. Always fought heavyweight.
Sure.
So I trained really hard. I was really focused, and I got drilled. I ended up coming third. And I had a trophy about this big. And by this time, I was in. I was all in. There was this like Kyokushin for life. Quick, give me a tattoo on my neck. Likely my girlfriend said, "Why don't we just hold out on the tattoo?"
Yeah.
No, I'm never changing. This is it. Anyway, but yeah, I had some good guidance. Anyway, so I was so angry, and I remember getting to the change room and said, man, I want to smash this trophy. I was so disappointed. I thought, man, why am I doing this? Am I that pathetic, that I can't even win, the bloody yellow belt and under division for the, eastern suburbs of Sydney. But I didn't. I kept it.
Good one.
And I kept it. And I show people now and I say, look, I know that, that, I got world titles and done all this great stuff. But I lost two. I lost plenty.
Yeah.
But and that was something that my sensei really installed in me, is to just keep going. Just say, "Boss, Pete, shut the fuck up. Do what I tell you to do."
Yeah.
Because I was terrible. I was like, "Ah, fuck." He's like,
Yeah.
"Stop
Yeah.
swearing in class." I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, sorry, I mean that shit." You know, I
Yeah.
was always getting in trouble. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah, I
But,
understand.
you know, he installed that no matter what happens, stay strong, stick to the program, and just come back, do it again. Just keep going.
Very good.
I got ADD too. So ADD is like the worst thing for staying focused on anything. So for me, it was like I got to pick a team. My education was terrible because I went to so many different schools. I didn't go to school at all. And you know, I really said to myself, if you don't stick to this beat, your life is going to be terrible. We're going to end up like a junkie or in jail or whatever. And you see that happen to so many people. It's sad, but the ethics and the principles that my sensei taught me and what Kyokushin taught me has made my life awesome, like in every aspect.
Fantastic. That's cool, as so you're away, all right, and you've had your stint, and you're up against Sensei Wally and all the above, and you're being in that mold of one of the best full contact karate fighters, and you want more. I know that from you. You wanted more, and you were wanting more and more and more, which then led you to what led you straight after your success in doing Kyokushin. How did that path come about, and then how did you just take that next step?
Well, what I did then is after training like there was no tomorrow, because it's really how I felt. I felt, this is it, man. You got to go for it. I learned about the Uschi Dechi program. My sensei told me about it. I'm like, put me in, coach. I'm like, I just like that. That's it. That's the only thing I can do. And on my behalf, my sensei applied for me, and they said, sure, you can go. So my sensei asked me. He said, Pete, do you have any money? I'm like, oh, yeah. I was saving up to buy a car. Like I was 19 or something. And almost 20.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I think I might have been 20. So I've been training for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I was like, I really wanted a car. I was like, so, most young guys. I said, yeah, I got some money saved. I'm like, oh, he goes, look, you've been accepted into the Uschi Dechi program. And I was like, man, this it. So instead of buying a car, I used the money to pay for flights and accommodation. And my dojo and my sensei contributed a lot. They really helped me out. And they helped me get the ticket and pay for the rest of the fees and everything. And they sent me off. So when I get there, I turn up early, always turning up early. And I'm like, I go to the office in Ikebukuro in Tokyo, in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm here for the Uschi Dechi. So we know who you are. So I'm ready to start. When's training, And they said, well, you can't book until tomorrow. And Japanese, if they said it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. You don't get to come early or a bit later. So I book into this tiny little business hotel where the door's like up to here on my head. And I start. And when I'm there, Francisco Filio and Globe Fatosa and Nicholas Pettas, they're all training there. But this is before K1. I mean,
Sure.
K1 was on, obviously, but these guys hadn't been, they hadn't started. And we were all talking about it, more them than me, because at that time, those guys were like, they were the superstars of Kyokushin. Sosai had just passed away, and there was some shift in the thought of what the top end Kyokushin guys were capable of doing. And then, of course, all the Sato guys, so a bunch of them, in K1, and the Kyokushin guys, man, we got to represent, man. We got to go beat those guys up. Everyone's super pumped to talk about it, and I really wanted to do it. And the answer was no. I'm like, what do you mean no? And they said, well, we choose who's going to go. I said, well, I didn't really have a forward, overly think it. I said, well, this is the next step. I have to go there. The only way to prove yourself as a martial artist is to compete against the very best you can find. It's just like, this is what Oyama did. How can this not be what I should be doing? So I came back to Australia and I started kickboxing at a place called Black Belt Pro in Rammer. And then I went in every Kyokushin tournament I could find. I went in the open style tournaments, but I just used to wear like just plain gi pants and a black t-shirt, and just say, oh yeah, I train myself, so I could just enter as many tournaments as I could.
Yeah, gotcha.
Except I'd win them, and they go, "Who are you?" I said, "Oh well, nobody," because at that time, it wasn't the internet, stuff like that. And then I ran out of people to kickbox, so we started finding people to kickbox in New Zealand. And after a while, just as like I said, okay, I've got to have more fights, so I started boxing as well. And that was it. My goal was, look, I'll just keep going until I can't go anymore. And I said, if I win a national title, I'll try for, like a South Pacific title. If I can win that, I'll go for a Commonwealth. And with the kickboxing, and then, people saying, Pete, man, you're doing really well because I'm undefeated. And they said, are you going to turn pro? And I'm like, at that time, there's like Stan the Emelianenko, and of course Sam Greco and Gurkhan Ozcan, all these just larger than life people within the combat sports and karate as a whole. All the Sado guys, all the Kyokushin guys, and then there's the kickboxing guys, and then you start to learn about the Muay Thai guys, and it's like it was just kept on getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, oh, I want some of that, but they were terrifying. And the biggest gap was when you finish the amateurs. The gap between amateur and pro is enormous. On my fourth pro fight, I fought Stan the Emelianenko, and he was a 10-time world champion. And I'm like looking at this guy going, this guy's, he's it. If you've ever met Stan, he's got a larger than life personality. He's born to be a celebrity, that guy. There's like, you can't ever imagine him working at the local shop or being a builder. It was never going to happen.
Sure.
And Sam Greco, I mean, the guy looked like he was, chiseled out of rock,
sure,
and just terrifyingly look. I mean, he's always polite and nice, but he's terrifying. Watching drill people in in tournaments, and you have all these tapes on him, and I'll be going, oh man, these guys are terrifying. So I just kind of took my brain and put it to the side. I said, if I've got to get to where I've got to go, I've got to fight these guys. And that was it. I just said yes to every fight. I just trained as much as I could. And I just kept my eye on the prize so much. I remember being so sick one day at training at Kyokushin, because I used to live at Bondi Beach in Sydney, and because I had no money, of course, because I spent that going to become an Uschi Dechi, I used to ride my BMX bike. Okay, so I'm 6'3", right? I used to ride my BMX bike from Bondi Beach to Five Dock to train for 2 hours and ride back home, right? Because I was trying to save my money too. It was like, I want to go back to Japan.
Sure.
So, and I turned out one day and I was so sick. I could barely stand straight. And my sensei said, Pete, are you okay? Us!
Both.
You look a bit white. Maybe you should. Oh, sensei, I'm good. No problem with that. He says, why don't you sit down for a minute? And I'm like, oh, maybe that's good.
Yeah.
All the colors drain from my face. I can bear, and I start to kind of not quite black out, but 2 or 3 steps away from him. And he got one of the other senior instructors. He said, well, why don't you just drive him home? And I remember driving along, saying, is it okay? Can you stop the car? And I throw up out of the car. And I'm like, oh, do you think I'm going to get in trouble for not turning up to training? And
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like that was, I missed it. I said, how can I ever get that back? Because I always thought that everyone who done, Kyokushin, been doing it since they were 10 or 9 or 7. And I didn't start till I was like almost 18. I thought, man, I've got to train, if it was going to be as good as you, I got to train not as much as you, not twice as much. I got to do 3 times as much because you've got 9 years on me. And I was just like, I was desperate to become better.
That's awesome. That's a great way of putting everything there, and I appreciate that. And you said probably a 5 to 7 year chapter there in about 5 minutes. So no, I appreciate that. But one of the things that a lot of us, I'm trying to talk on behalf of everyone, is your relationship with the greats there. Francisco Filio, Globe Feitos, Nicholas Pettas, Gary O'Neill. When you guys were in Uschi Dechi, how long were you there for in Ikebukuro? And I guess that relationship, blossomed you into the K1 side of things as well, didn't it?
Yeah, well, when I first went there, they, like I said, it was just after Sosai passed away, and they'd restricted how long you could stay for.
Okay.
So they said that anyone who was not Japanese couldn't do the full program. You were only allowed to do a 3-month program. So I did that one, and then as soon as I could, I went back.
Okay.
Went back to Japan to train again. So the first time was cut short, tragically. My brother passed away when I was there, so I almost completed, and then I had to come back to Australia. But when he passed away, that was, to me, was like, that's it. That's my life had been unusual up to that point, but I just, it solidified that I needed to do something. I said, this is, I just turned 21. I didn't have a 21st birthday party. I said, no, I'm training for a fight or a tournament or something. And that was it. Just, just absolute focus on, training, karate. A lot of people ask me, I'll clarify something. When I fight and when I fought before, people say, do you like kickboxing better or boxing better or MMA? I'm like, well, I like them all. But what I do is Kyokushin Karate, the way of the ultimate spirit, way of the ultimate truth, is, to me, is a personal, my personal principles are derived from that. Most people get them from their mum and dad, or, for religious principles and stuff like that. But I really got mine from Kyokushin. It was that for me was my way of life, and the way I saw it was, I need to fight as many people as I can. I thought, if I only go in Kyokushin tournaments, I'm going to limit myself. It wasn't going out and telling people. I was not saying, like I was saying, hey, I'm so great, I should, I'm going to be the next Oyama. But I really felt that what he was doing was the best way to test myself, and I still truly believe that. For anyone from black belt to third dan, if you start to win all the the Kyokushin tournaments, you need to start to test yourself against everyone, because Kyokushin wasn't developed to win karate tournaments. They're important. There's a great learning ground. Kyokushin was developed as a combat sport, fighting martial art. It's legit. If you hear some stories about Sosai, he's a badass, man. It was cool. He was the man. He was charismatic. I never got to meet him, but I was really, really tight, and still good friends with Nicholas Pettas. The blue-eyed samurai. The last real Uschi Dechi student of Sosai. And he, the amount of stories that he's told me that I'm sure no one else knows about, that I won't say here, but maybe you can ask Nick, and maybe he'll tell you some of them. I just thought, this guy's, I need to be like that. And so it was always just me testing my karate against boxers, against kickboxers, against Thai boxers, against MMA guys. And, you know, it just always led back to that. But it's always been about that one thing, that forward momentum, that learning. And if there's anything I know now is that I really wish that I had more time to learn more. I think, man, I'm 44 now. It's just like, it's just, I just feel like there's so much more to learn.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from. More so with the learning side and the journey of it all. Hey, you know, and when you see all these other masters currently, that, you know, the legends of the 70s and 80s who are now in their 60s and still fit, still strong, and are not the expected machines of full contact karate, but their technique is beautiful. Their etiquette is strong. Their presence is so, you know, inspiring as well.
Yeah, a lot of the guys who started with me in that tiny dojo at Birkenhead Point are also really successful people, like really, really within their own industries. Some of them have stopped doing karate, but they, or most of them have actually, but their lives have turned out good. I mean, it's such a great set of principles to run your life by.
Yeah.
Discipline, strength, honor, respect. It just works everywhere. And if you apply it, it works everywhere. You know, you can become successful, whatever it is you choose to do. And especially with the guys who are older than me, I always looked up to them. And especially my Sensei Graham Porter. You know, he's not really famous in the sense of Kyokushin, you know. But for me, he was, you know, just such a mentor. He was such a person that I wanted to be like. You know, he's a very successful businessman, very successful. You know, he's got a beautiful family, so he's got a really good, well-adjusted, great family, and he could back kick you through a wall. What's not to like, right? So, you know, I just thought it was real cool, and I just thought, man, if I can, you know, live a life like that, then you know, that's not too bad.
So, Chief, did you ever compete in a Kyokushin World Tournament, or did you fight in an All Japan or anything like that?
World Tournament, 2000. First fight, Globe Fatoza.
Ah, fuck.
I literally bobbed under one of his head kicks.
Oh, man.
It was not a bad fight. It's online somewhere. I haven't seen it or watched it for ages, but that was an awesome world tour. I had a really good time, but I lost I got a bye for the first round. I went straight to the second round, and I fought Globe. But it was, you know, still an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
I think, you know, one of the things is that it just kept going. I mean, I did Kyokushin, I did karate. You know, I want to be a combat sports athlete because of what it gave me was so much more than, you know what I had to put in. I put everything in, but it gave me literally everything that I have. It gave me my health. You know, it gave me means. It gave me my family. You know, it gave me the ability to have that inner strength that you know, that people need.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that, you know, I was always physical. So, but that inner strength is like, hey man, you can do it physically, you can do it mentally, and sometimes, you know, for young men, I can't speak on behalf of women, but for young men, sometimes you're so angry, you know, you know, and then I remember people say, oh, you shouldn't fight, or don't take it out there, and you just let it go. I said, I wasn't that kid, you know, but, you know, go and beat the crap out of a bag and then go and spar with someone, you know, who wants to be there. You know, the end result was a positive thing, not a negative thing. You know, so, and there was a lot of built up anger and resentment and all these, you know, angry teenage boy things going through my head, and young man things. But all that was the fire that, you know, powered me on to be good at what I love doing. So, you know, it's but it was that channeling and the focus of that energy and the instructions of a good sensei, which, you know, led me in the right direction.
Yeah. And it led you around the world.
Always grateful for that.
It led you around the world.
Literally.
Let's get stuck into that. You know, that you know, what an amazing part of that journey too. You know, to travel the world, to do what you love, and you've committed everything to. And I guess, you know, some great stories, or something that, you know, one of the common, or not common, one of the most famous footage is of you and Badahari having a kiss with each other. You know, and for those out there, I'll put that up.
He was kissing me.
Yeah. For those that haven't seen it, I'll put that up on a rain after this. But you know, those experiences of traveling the world, and you know, one other one was fighting one of the baddest men on the planet. You know, I don't know his actual name, but Fedors' brother. You know, what a fight that was as well. Alexander
Emelianenko, Sasha.
Yeah. So that, you know, fighting you know, these absolute gorillas and monsters in respect of, you know, who they are.
He's a terrifying guy too, man. I tell you, you look at him, he's a bit taller than me. I jumped off this airplane that I was so happy to get off. I thought, man, I'm going to die. Freezing cold. Like if you've only ever lived in Australia, you don't know freezing cold until you've been to Russia. And then they kind of whisked me off to meet him. And he's exactly what you think a Russian gangster is. Doesn't talk much, kind of looks straight through you. And you're like, fuck this. I'm looking at him going, fuck, this guy is scary as shit. And he has all these cronies with him, and they're like, it's like, fuck, man. I remember after I met him, we go into I go into a meeting with the head of Draka, which is the name of Draka, is the name of the organization. And I said, hey guys, you know, thanks for picking me up, and I appreciate that. And I said, is it okay if I try to win the fight? And I said, what do you mean, Peter? I said, you know, like, I don't want to go for a walk into the forest with you guys and only you guys walk back out. You know what I'm saying? And I said, what do you mean? You walk in and only us? Yes. You're a funny guy, Peter. And I said, no, you can try to win the fight. And I'm like, oh man. I mean, it was in an ice hockey rink that they converted to put the fight on. And it really was like a Rocky movie. They kind of dicked me around the back, and you know, they said, "Oh, do you have gloves?" I'm like, "Well, you're not meant to give them to me." And they're like, and I'd just flown over from Brazil. I was training with Pedro Rizzo and Anderson Silva and stuff. Badasses, right? And it was, you know, middle of summer, so they go to the middle of, you know, winter in Russia. And you know, I remember I was like, oh yeah, you know, I got someone put them on, and then I was like, when's the fight gonna start? You know, I'm trying to get a hold of what's going on. And someone walks in and said, quick, go, your song's on. I'm like, oh, what? So rush out, you know, I'm kind of still trying to half warm up, trying to stay focused.
Oh man.
And the crowd is like, you know, and it's a stadium, right? So it's packed. And there's no Peter Graham fans there.
No,
and I'm like, oh. And then when he walks out, the place erupts. Like, whoa! I was like, man. I'm like, oh shit. And, and just the look. I said this before to someone. Did you ever read Mark Hunt's book?
Yes. Yeah.
What a book! But in his book, he says that he feels nothing before a fight. Just like,
Yep.
And funny, Alexander and Mark Hunt are the only two guys. Well, no, actually, sorry, three guys. Jason Suddy from New Zealand as well. Is when you look them in the eye, you don't see anything.
Wow.
I always, whenever I have a fight, I always look someone right in the eyes. And sometimes guys are scared. You know, they'll be looking at the ground. Doesn't mean they won't fight well. It just means that's how they feel. You know. Some guys are not. They're like, they're like, I'm gonna fuck you up. But Alexander, he just looks through you, and it's a real disconcerting feeling. You go, oh man, it's like, I don't know, it's like looking at a freaking ice monster or something.
Yeah.
And man, he fucking hits hard.
Yeah.
boom, boom. I remember him hitting me, and so he hit me so hard that I lost my ability to smell and taste for like 2 months.
Oh. Isha.
I'm sure it
Isha.
probably rattled a few brain cells.
Wow.
So I went back to Brazil to spend
Mm-hmm.
Christmas there. So I went back from Russia to Brazil, and I couldn't stand the taste of beer. I love beer and fish, and I love fish. And I'm like, I just couldn't. I could like, I was like, this is, and like I'd lost the ability to like. It's like that just taste made me feel like throwing up.
Mm. Well,
Luckily, I got it back.
well, I'll put that up for those that haven't seen it. It's an amazing bout. And now that the Chiefs just walked us through, you guys will just have goosebumps when you start seeing him walk out and the whole battle. It's unbelievable. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And I guess that segues a couple of things to the countries that you've been fortunate to, travel with and help. And you shared with me one time how you've been in the States and you've helped, a whole bunch of consulted as such and coached a lot of the MMA side of things and, in their striking. Can you share some of the stuff there as well with some of us?
Yeah, when K1 was on a downturn, I went over to Temecula in California to train at Team Quest to help with the striking component. Dan Henderson, Terry Solkaju, and those guys are all badass wrestlers. Like, I mean, the baddest wrestlers on the planet, right?
Yeah.
And Terry Solkaju, right? Probably the best judoka in the world, never to win a gold medal. And I'm a striker. I only just started doing MMA, and these guys were just taking me down at will. It was an awesome place. I mean, I've never been on a mat that maybe the person with the least amount of qualifications. So it was like a normal big combat sports gym, and in the evening they'd have classes for for regular people and stuff like that. But they had the pro class at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and on the mat the least qualified person there would be a black belt and national champion in whatever they came from. But there was everyone from Dan Henderson down. These guys are Olympic gold medalists, multiple gold medalists for wrestling. The best judokans in the world. UFC champs. K1 guys. It was just you just stand there, look at the mat, and just go. Gonna have to work hard today.
Yeah.
It was awesome though, training with those guys. Ryan Parson was the head coach, and he's so smart on diet and sleep and training. Everything was always thought about. Nothing was just, oh, we'll just do that. We'll see how we go. It was a really, really, really good place to be an athlete at.
You've cornered some people as well, and who did you get? I guess who did you assist more in that time that you were there? Assist meaning you actually could feel that relationship of you going, shit, this is working out well for you, and it's working out well for them.
Well, the first one I was working a lot with Terry Solkaju, because he was obviously he'd been in Pride, and then he jumped over to UFC. And he was obviously an unbelievable judokan as well. So, and because he was kind of closer to me in weight, we worked out a lot together. Became good friends with Mayhem Miller.
Yep.
He's a funny guy. He's hilarious. He's one of the funniest guys I ever met. And so intelligent. Like, you meet him and you go, this guy's crazy. But what you don't realize is how maybe I always thought maybe he's a bit like that because he's got so much going on in his mind.
Sure.
But just jumping back, training with Terry was awesome. Dan Henderson, I was in his corner, but we train every day. And Dan Henderson is possibly he's got to be on my top 5 toughest human beings I've ever met in my life. I remember one time we were training, we were sparring, and I went whack, And he kind of staggered back, and I took him down. So, oh, so kind of looked at me and go, oh, I'm fine. I was talking to Dan Henderson one day. I said, hey, Dan, this is before we're going off to Vegas for his fight. I said, what are you going to do after the fight, man? He goes, oh, I'm going to go bear hunting. I said, bear hunting? I mean, I'm not a hunter kind of guy, and I always lived in the city. I said, man, I don't know if I could ever shoot a bear. He goes, no, I don't shoot the bear. I go with a bow. I'm like, what? You're going to go bear hunting with a freaking bow? So, yeah. I said, man, who's going with you? He goes, oh, no, I go by myself. I said, let me get this straight, dude. You're going bear hunting with a bow by yourself.
Yeah. Next level.
He's American Indian. It's cultural as well. But I'm like, well, fucking have a good time, man. Let's see when we get back. I said, I'm fucking not going to fuck with no bear and a bow and arrow. I mean, it was a compound bow, but, you think of that, things like that. I mean, that's a terrifying. But I worked a lot in Japan, of course, with Nicholas Pettas.
Yeah. Actually, Sensei, Chief, there is that bout with he fought the 7'3" Korean, I think it was Korean lad, and you were in his corner there because you were. Am I right? And then there's I won't ruin the tale.
Did you see the picture? There was a picture of the international kickboxer where he's kicking him in his head. Yes. And he's doing a perfect split.
It's unbelievable.
Man, that was. I think that's one of my favorite kickboxing pictures ever from K1.
How did you guys prepare, I guess, for something like that? But then also when Pettas Nicholas Sensei won, that you guys were just, I guess you don't, obviously very naive to seeing someone 7'3" with boxing gloves, and then you have the skills of Nicholas Pettas kicking him in the head, and knocking him out. You guys were just so happy and so much, joy for that, for Nicholas as well, wasn't it?
Oh man, we worked so hard for that. Nick is known for his kicks, but he's really, really hard, and we just were really focused. We had a great team at Spirit Gym with the Athletic Enterprise in Tokyo, and we just worked our asses off. And Nick is so fit. Oh my God. You wouldn't think a guy who's, was like, I don't know, is he 5'11"? It's not particularly, for K1 terms, he's not particularly tall. And he's built like a brick shithouse. The guy's got the biggest legs on the planet. And, those bad boys slam into your legs or anywhere, you know about it for, a good week and a half. But his fitness, like you wouldn't think that he can be so fit, but he's also a really good runner. He looks nothing like a runner. And we used to run around the Yogi Park in Tokyo, and he found this kind of jungle way to go through it and scared the hell out of the Japanese, going, what are these crazy gaijin running around the park? But I mean, I think that was it. I mean, it was when there's training, and you train to learn something new, like a new technique, and you basically, in a Kyokushin and a karate way, it's like saying from white belt to black belt, you're learning how to do techniques and how to put them together. You're learning how to, but at that, once you're a pro, you still learn things, but you're not going to class to learn a new technique. You're saying, this is what I do. You always improve on the techniques you have, and then you have, a certain amount of tactics. So we knew who Hong Man Choi was, he's tall. We knew that he's strong. We literally, at that time, we literally knew him. He used to come and hang out in Tokyo because he only just had to fly over from Korea. It's like a short flight. And so it was just fitness. The other thing for K1, because it was limited rounds, you wanted to be as big as you can. And as fit as you can. So, it's not like, if you're fighting 12 rounds of boxing, you don't want to be too heavy because you just get gassed. So when I fought for a boxing world title, it was like 108 kilos. But when I was fighting K1, it was about 118, 116 kilos because I want to try to be heavy because it's only limited rounds.
Sure.
Training for that fight, and Nick was just super focused. And, he was the better fighter.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we say, you have to exploit your strengths as a technician as opposed to just size. And that's the thing, if you know how to fight, it doesn't matter how big the other person is. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
whole idea, right?
I'm alluding to something here for you. I saw the fight where he fought Jerome Labana as well. Did you fight Peter Ertz and Jerome Labana? And I'm sure out of those lads.
I didn't fight Peter Ertz or Jerome Labana.
No.
Uh,
Who were your top two that gave you the most fun, and I guess the most, in the K1 side now? And again, please excuse, veering left and right, but you've had a phenomenal career in MMA, boxing, kickboxing. So from here, that side of it, who was your favorite, and who was your fun one, and who was your one where you were like, son of a bitch, I could have got him.
Well, Remy Bonjowski in the K1 Grand Prix in the finals.
Yeah, right.
He exploited his ability. I mean, he's so technically brilliant.
Yeah.
He's tough because he wasn't really a big hitter, but he's just so technically good. And he won, and he won the Grand Prix that year. So he's always tough. Fighting Sam Greco, was tough.
Mm.
It was tough more mentally.
Okay.
Because, he was the guy from Australia, and I was coming off a loss from Stan the Man, and I lost to Stan. Like, I lost, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to just he beat me. Like, I remember at the weigh-in, I was cool. At the press conference, I was cool. I was cool walking to the ring, and I turned around and looked at my coach, Alex Tui, and Alex said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm good." And I turned around and I was like, "Oh, it's Stan the Man." And I kind of went, "Oh, I better be careful." Instead of going for the win, I played it safe, and I lost on points. So when I got to Sam, I said to myself, they'd actually switched my opponent to like the day before. I was meant to fight Ernesto Hoost. We're going up the elevators, and Peter Ertz says, "Oh, you're fighting Sam." So no, I'm fighting Ernesto. No, man, Ernesto's pulled out. He's got, because he has what's it called? When they have really dry skin, flaky dry skin.
Eczema.
Anyway, he had that, and he had to pull out. And I said, "Well, no one told me." He said, "Oh, well." So yeah, thanks guys, appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we fought him, and I just remember saying, "Oh fuck." But I remember I was like, "Man, I got to win." And it's hard to beat your idol. It's hard to fight your idol. I was like, "You're Sam Greco." And then he was, literally a monster. Just like, I just have to keep it together.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
So that was a good fight. I won that fight. Semmy Schilt, I fought on, a couple of days' notice. I fought him at, Bumbaye. It's like everyone on the card's like a main event, right?
Sure.
And Nick sends me a message, say, "Hey Pete, you want to fight the champ?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I'll fight the champ." Which champ? It's like the champ, Semmy Schilt. I'm like, "Oh, I've been eating pizza and drinking beer for about a month because it's at Christmas, right?" And it's the New Year's Eve show in Japan. It's like the biggest show of the year. I said, "Give me a ticket." I'm there. He goes, "Okay, cool." So I took this crazy ticket to Japan, and I went the distance with him. It was that was a great fight.
You did,
didn't you?
Yeah.
It was. I said to myself, I thought, okay, I got 3 rounds. I know that even being unfit, I can kind of manage my fitness. I can do 3 rounds. And I got to the end of 3 rounds, and I was fucked. I was so tired, and I literally become delirious. And I started talking to Semmy Schilt. I go, "Come on!" I was like, "Come on!" You see me say, "Go and knock me out." I throw a roll kick at him. He's looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, you crazy?" I said, "Don't you know I'm the champ?" Anyway, he won the fight on points, and I'm like, I guess you got to really kind of stop the champ. It was one of my favorite fights. I was feeling really sad, and I'm walking out. I'm so tired. Like I'm breathing. It feels like someone's stabbing me every time. And I'm walking out, and it's in a big baseball stadium. So there's the backstage room is they section it off for each athlete. And I come in, and like these are all superstars. Every one of these guys have been a main event at a massive show all year, and they start clapping. And I look behind me because I think, oh, who's coming? Because there's lots of really famous celebrities walking around, and I go, I think it dawns on me. I said, these guys are clapping for me. I almost burst into tears.
Oh,
like, these are the guys that I respect more than anything else in the world.
yeah.
And then everyone's like, great fight, man, great fight. I'm like, I feel like that lady who got the Oscar saying, you love me, you really love me.
Yeah. Hey, that's awesome. That's
like,
very
get together, Chief. I'm like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah. No sweat.
That was cool.
Hey,
but there's
Chief, the beauty of your humbleness behind all these legends and so forth, and yourself being one, is, you had a post on your, and I'm not jumping the gun here, I'm just segmenting how big that chapter, that journey was for you, and when it was time to hang it up, and you did a post on Facebook. I wrote to you, thousands of us wrote to you, and you're so open and honest about how you were feeling. And where did you start realizing this is time, and how, I mean, that post is, I'll try and find it and take a picture of it, because it was so deep, and you really, it hit home for you, didn't it?
Yeah, it was tough. Hold on, what's up? Sorry.
Go for it.
It's my other guy in the cocaine.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Okay, well, now you're famous. See ya.
We're 10 more minutes, if that's all right. That'll be good.
Yeah, man, that's cool. If I wasn't married with kids, I think I would probably just keep fighting until I drop dead. I just love fighting so much.
Yeah.
I love the experience. I love overcoming obstacles. I love training for the fight. But it was my wife who kind of put it to me. Now I don't fight in Australia so much, so most of it's done in obscure countries which are willing to pay you large sums of money to beat up someone no one's ever heard of here. But I've been fighting in China, and 200 million people watch the fights. It's crazy, and
Wow.
I've been doing more boxing. And my wife says, she goes, why you keep fighting? I'm like, why do you keep breathing oxygen? Why does a golfer play golf forever? Why does a painter or a dancer keep wanting to dance and paint? And she says, well, no, you've achieved what you wanted. You started out, you wanted to make your life better. You wanted to improve yourself, and you've done that. Everything that you've ever wanted, you've achieved. You have a family, you have a home, you have a great business. We have a good dojo. And then, instead of fighting, being able to give me something, every time I fought when I'm on the way up, so to speak, I always had the opportunity to gain something. There was no loss. There was no downside for me. If I get the shit, kicked out of me, that's all right. It's just someone kicking the shit out of me. I had nothing to start with. I didn't have a family. I didn't have money. Didn't have education, fame or success or confidence. None of it. So every time I fought, every time I went to a tournament, or every time I went to a grading, whatever it was, it built me up, made me a better person. Completely. And it got to the point, and I guess she made me realize that if something goes wrong now, I could really lose something. I could, if I get really, fucked up in a fight, like really fucked up, that would really affect my wife and my kids and our livelihood. I thought, Now it's doing the opposite of what it's meant to do.
Right.
And instead of being a selfless act, it's become a selfish act. And I like to think I'm not too dumb.
Mm.
At about 42, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't fight forever. I don't want to be the guy who has one too many fights. I mean, I had 123, give or take one or two, pro fights.
Wow.
Every continent on the planet.
Unbelievable.
I had a crack at it.
Well,
I had to go.
I appreciate you sharing that, and it gives me the side here where you have so much more to give. I wrote to you, you've given so much. Now you have so much more to give, Chief. And having you at Judd's camp and we were hanging out, that was awesome. To have your presence.
It was a hard camp, man. Trained that hard for months.
It's good fun. And but when we were chatting,
it was awesome fun. I loved it. Judd's killing it, right? I love his stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm so happy he's back in Australia.
Yeah, so and that's the angle from him, and the angle from you that I was sharing with you is it's anyone that's going to be under your tutelage and your amazing club at can you announce that? Where is it? Just for those, look it up.
It's at Prospect. It's called IMC, International Martial Arts Center.
Yeah.
We got 5 of them.
Yeah, 5 of them. Yeah.
So we got boxing, we got kickboxing, we got Thai boxing, we got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We've got no-gi grappling. And we have karate. We do Kempo karate, but 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. For anyone who doesn't know,
sure.
Look it up.
Sure. So everyone out there,
more similar, and we get to wear a cool black gi.
There you go. So check out that, with Sensei's dojo there and all, and how much he's got to offer. And, in summarizing all, our chat here, Chief, I really appreciate it. And, with what we're all going through and on a business angle now, that the your dojo is closed and all the others. And, for those that are listening, Chief, in respect of, shit, is this 3 months, 6 months? How are you pushing it or wording it to students out there all around the world that are isolated as such? But, we're all trying to do our best and train and push up and sit ups and, whatever angle we can do at home. But what's your message out there? The floor is yours for a couple of minutes here and just, pushing others and everyone out there, to never give up as such.
Well, that's the thing. It's to me, it's really always been the same. Is and I tell my own students, my daughters, I say, don't ask for things to be easy, because I can never guarantee you that. I'm not going to guarantee anyone that. I'm not going to promise you that. Ask to be strong. When you hear people say of Kyokushin, they say it's the strongest karate. I always interpreted that as it's not just the physical element, it's the mental element. Be strong. I say that to people and I put in, at the bottom of writing, sometimes I feel a bit like a dick when I write it, but I mean it like, be strong. It's like right now you have the opportunity to be strong, not to me or to you or your sensei, but be strong to yourself, because we all feel the same. We're going to wake up and go, man, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I love training in classes. So when, I find it a million times harder to train by myself, and I say, just do it, right? Just get the fuck up and do what you got to do. And there's that point we all have when we ask ourselves that question: am I going to go to the dojo, or am I going to take a day off? Am I going to go for that run, or am I not going to go run? It's every day. We always ask ourselves millions of questions, and if you just get used to saying, "Fuck it, I'll do it," as opposed to "fuck it," you just slowly claw your way up there, and you'll notice that the one thing I always notice is people just give up. I guess in a way I remember thinking, just give up. and that's what happens. If you be the one who just says, I'll just keep going, I'm just going to do a little bit more. And that's what he says, just a little bit more. I'll just do a little bit more. There's a, I don't know if this is the 100% correct translation or way of saying it, but in Japan, they have like a saying that says, just do it for a minute. You know, if I ask you to learn, you know, Hebrew or Russian, or say, and you go, hey, you know, it's different dialect, different characters. So, you know, that just seems like such a monstrous task.
Sure.
I said, just, can you do it for a minute? Can you learn calculus for a minute? I think, yeah, I could probably focus for a minute to be the world champ today. I don't have to be, you know, I don't have to sit in a full split with my chest on the ground today, but I'll do a minute. I can do it for a minute. I can stretch out for a minute, you know, or I can, you know, I can go and practice for a minute. I can study for a minute.
Understood.
And then you probably, more than likely, could probably go for another minute. And you hear of all the, you know, endurance champions, you know, from Robert D. Castella to, you know, those, you know, ultra marathon people. They just say, they're not running marathons. They're just taking one step. And that's what it's always about, right? It's pretty simple to me. It's like, choose what you want to do, be your own boss, be strong, and then just do it for a minute. And then see if you can, you know, if you can hack another minute. And that's what happens in a fight, right? Because it can be fucking terrifying. You get beat up, you get hit. And if you hit the deck, you're going to say, I'll just keep going. I'll just get up and I'll just see how it goes. Because you guarantee that it's going to be easy if you stand up, but you're certainly in with a chance. And that's what it's all about, you know. Everyone is feeling that at the moment. You know, I just went from having the 2 best months in the gym, so financially, I'm like, yeah, finally, I can buy a monster truck. You know, to boom, nothing.
Sure.
Now I can piss and moan and complain and say that, or I can say, no. What is it that you want, Pete? I'll write it down. Okay. I don't think about what I don't want because I can't change that. There's nothing I can do to change the gym, dojo's closed. That's just what it is. But I can choose what I want to do. And then you just have to follow through. And it's not easy. That's why we say I have to be strong. So when you look at yourself in context and you think what Kyokushin teaches us is be strong here. And if you can't be strong for, you know, 2 hours worth of training by yourself, try a minute. See how you go.
Fantastic. That's
so
awesome.
that's what I'm doing. I'm just telling myself, stick to the program, Pete, get back on it, even if it's just for a minute.
No, that's amazing. You've summarized it perfectly, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you so much, Sensei Chief. That was unreal. Lovely chatting to you. Thank you for sharing with us some of your journey there in under in an hour or so. And like I said to you, we could go for 3 hours, but it wasn't about that. We could hopefully get you another time when everything's up and running, and we can talk further about how things are going. But Chief, thank you so much. All love to your family and to yourself. We'll stay in touch. Big Us, thank you so much.
Well, see you guys.